Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTrain.tv, where every day is an exciting day to learn about the Claris FileMaker platform. So, got some announcements today, so buckle up and hang on tight. So, if you go to FMTrain.tv, we have the upcoming broadcast schedule. Once again, we eat our own dog food here. It's not one of those companies where we say, hey, use our Android devices because Toshiba and Samsung are so great. And then it says sent from their sales guy, sent from an iPhone, right? So awesome. We eat our own dog food here legitimately. Real quick, pivoting forward real quick. I talked to certain vice presidents at Claris, had a long conversation with them last night. Claris is actively working on a number of new products. And the products are there's an AI server, and the AI server is designed for those of you who want to have a large language model, you want to leverage it in your solution, but you don't want to be renting slices of space from OpenAI or some online service because your data, some of you are working on radar cross sections and radar reflections on stealth fighters and F-35s and stuff like that. You don't want your AI to be discussing this with people over the public in a non-secure way. So if you're Lockheed Martin or another company with very sensitive data, maybe medical data, then you're going to want to maybe have your own AI server on premise. So Claris is building the software. They want you to come help them test it. They need feedback from you. This is actively in progress. I got an email from one of you saying that, oh, I tried to sign up, but I got rejected, that higher balloon kin. And they were very confused as to why you would have not been accepted into ETS. So once again, if you have an organization, they have confidential information. You're going to run your own AI server if you want to do that, run the large language model. You cannot put it on an old, I got a spare laptop under my desk or something like that. No. This will be a very expensive piece of hardware to run it and have it work successfully. So you're talking like a $5,000 Mac or something along those lines. So, or you can put it on an Amazon server. They have specification of what they recommend you run. But if you put it on Amazon, you can put it on Amazon as long as it's part of a closed net, then you could still kind of control that. It's not on a shared service. It's on your server, still up in the cloud, but you can protect that. So once again, depends on who you are and what you're looking for, but Claris needs ETS testers. They specifically asked me to promote this. They also have other ETS things coming out. So you want to help Claris test this stuff. There's also going to be new ETS for standby servers, right? So for those of you wondering about this, that's where Claris is working on a strategy of having backups that can run. You run a backup, and it, maybe they have a cold backup strategy where the backup is there, but you have to kind of set up a server. They have a warm backup strategy that they're working on. They also have a hot backup strategy. And hot means that it can take over and do all sorts of stuff. So if you want to be part of this ETS stuff, send an email to ets@claris.com, provide your contact information, and they will get you connected with that. So Kevin Frank, you are here. What are we talking about today? What are we doing with you? Because we're not doing AI stuff, I don't think, right? No AI with you. We're doing more.
Correct. Only genuine intelligence. Oh, here we are. Shall I share my screen?
Please do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was here a few weeks ago, and we did best of FileMaker hacks, tips, tricks, and traps, and there was plenty of stuff I didn't get to show last time, so I'm going to show some more of it today. And one thing I'll say is, Eve, I'm saying best of as if this has all appeared on my blog. A lot of this stuff has, but a lot of it hasn't. So you're going to see stuff today, even if you are a dedicated reader of FileMaker hacks, you'll see some things you haven't seen before. And on that happy note, let's keep moving. So yeah, Kevin Frank, that's me, 30 years experience. I'm technical lead on Cadence's Genesis Transactions product. I've got a blog. I haven't counted the articles recently.
A really good blog. That's why he's here. Phenomenal knowledge in there. Phenomenal knowledge. Phenomenal.
By the way, next month, I think, is my 15th anniversary on that blog. So yeah.
Well, you'll be required to come up and do another show for your anniversary. Sorry.
So I've got some goals for today. Goal 0, be really organized. Number 1, fast pace, no long-winded explanations, something for everyone, all killer, no filler, have fun, and let's get started. Oh, and there's a resource page, FileMakerHacks.com/tag/livestream. It's also the current article. I'll update it with a link to this YouTube and I'll also make the demo files available, but they're not available yet because I may fine tune them a little before I post them. So I'm just going to bang through here and you guys interrupt me as necessary. And Margaret, I'm going to put you on the spot a lot. So
Good. She could use that.
It's how I
Yeah.
learn how to code, unironically, watching people present at me. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a tip I picked up from Ian Himmel at Codens. And so how many times has this happened to you? You've got these fields and they're different sizes and you want to make them uniform. There's various ways you could go about doing this. And oh, by the way, in case you don't know, and a lot of people don't know you can do this, right? Some of us old timers really like having a floating inspector instead of having it welded to the.
I thought that was a thing of bygone years. I remember that as a kid, but I haven't
It's
seen
still
it.
there. It's still there. Check it
Well,
out.
before you
Watch
were born,
this.
Margaret, with the way we used to do it was we had this thing, right? But we can still do it. If we go over here, right, and we say view inspectors, new inspector, boom, we can pop one up.
New inspector is loose. It's detached.
Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
not like the one that's glued off on the right-hand side of the window that
I
I'm
thought
not
it was just stuck there forever. Like, okay.
It's still there, right? It's still out there. I'm just not showing it because I'm showing this one instead.
Got it.
And
Okay.
so as I say, like, so let's say I selected all these, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
made them to be 120 points wide and 60 points high.
Yes.
You guys, now notice it's showing me the total width and the total height right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can type that in and it will
Yep.
it. This was news to me. I only learned this a little while ago. So thank you, Ian Himmel. Yeah, pretty straightforward. It's definitely didn't used to be that way, and I'm not sure which version where it changed. Moving right along, let's see, demo number 2. Oh, this is kind of fun. So in this demo, we've got a separated solution here, or a faux separated solution, I should say. So really, all my data lives over here in test tables. I've got tables, right? Lots of tables. And if we were to look for table occurrences, we can see them right here, right? So it's okay, yeah, I got lots of table occurrences.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're in a separated solution, we probably care more about the table occurrences that are here. Now they're on my graph, right? Lots of table occurrences on the graph. But if I look at the tables, right, it's only going to show the actual tables that are defined in this table. So a huge amount of those table occurrences are not visible here.
Okay.
So we can see the ones that are here because these tables are defined here in test database, right? But most of these, by the way, if they're italicized, that means they're external, right? Everyone knows this, right?
External. Margaret doesn't do too many multi-file solutions, so pay attention, Margaret. This is kind of yeah.
Right. So file, manage, external data source, right? They're coming from there, right? They have to be here before you can put them on the graph.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, so here in manage database, right? Let's say I want to find donations, which this is very old school when I was first working out Anchor Buoy, which I no longer use, but this solution does use Anchor Buoy because it's 20 years old. And so here I've got this thing called DTN, right? That's my donations, right? I'd like to know how many of them first question I have is, do I have more than one? Well, since I use color coding, you can sort of see that I do, right?
Yes.
But maybe I can't see these other ones, right? Maybe I can only see one. Okay, like here we are. I'm down here. Oh my goodness, I can only see one. I wonder if there's more than one. So I highlight this one, and then I press Control U, or it would be Command U on the Mac. Now, let's try that again. And I'm going to draw your attention down here to these arrange tools, right? And when I'm pressing Command or Control U, I'm saying select tables with the same source table.
I had no idea you could even do that.
They all light up. And by the way,
Wait. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we do? I got to do that myself. Everyone, all right. How do we do that?
Click on one and press Command U if you're on the Mac and Control U if you're on Windows. And then So they're all going to light up. Now I could move them around and, isolate them if I want. But another thing I could do, I'll just point out, if the only question I'm asking is there more than one of these? Maybe notice right now these are all gray, right? But after I press Control U, these tools light up. And that right there tells me there's more than one on this graph. Even though
Hey, Margaret, it works. He's not totally smoking weed. He actually knows
there
what
you
he's
go.
doing.
The spike being from Humboldt. Yeah.
That's really, I had no idea you could do that.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, so then there's some other things that we can do here. For example, did you guys know that if you hold down the Option key on the Mac or the Alt key on Windows and draw a box, you can make the note without having to go choose the Post-it note widget.
Oh,
okay. So you push and hold, and then you drag a window, and that's the size.
Yeah. So Option drag, right?
Oh, that's nifty. I always just
Okay,
copy
so
the
now
old
we've
sticky
got
notes
this, right?
because I didn't know how to make them.
But another thing that's kind of cool is we can then, once we've selected it, we can make it transparent. So now we can have a minimalist note on our graph if we want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just some tricks there. A couple other tricks is sometimes we get into a situation, probably this is a very nicely arranged graph, I must say, right? But sometimes you get this kind of mishmash, right? And a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I want to get to the predicates on this thing, but it's buried. How, if I double click, I'll probably get the wrong one, right?
I
So
just fight with it for ages.
The truth of the matter is you can double click anywhere on the diagonal portion of the line. You don't have to double click on the box, right? So anywhere on the diagonal line works.
No, really? Oh.
And then if that's too much work, just highlight the buoy here and then arrow left. Now you've got the focus on that thing.
No.
Control O or Command O, and that'll pop up there. So just some tricks to help you work a little faster on the graph.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so there we are.
I just fight with it all the time.
But wait, there's more. So now remember I said, we might want to find all those table occurrences for DTN. Well, we can use that with execute SQL, right? And the syntax just looks like this, right? Table name here being table occurrence name. It's called table name, but it's actually table occurrence, right? So I come over here, right? And I say, hey, I don't care what I named it, the table occurrence. Go find things where the base table name is donations. And what's really cool is it's smart enough to know that even though donations lives over in test tables, not here in test database, it's in a different file. It still works. And
really? Okay.
So when I run this SQL, this is what it returns.
Oh, that's cool.
And then if I do value count on that, I can count them, right? So
nifty. Yeah, you can drop that into a variable and get that information.
Script debugger.
Do we have any questions so far, Mark? Keep an eye on that because this is so entertaining. I feel like we're probably ignoring everyone else to their detriment. So
there was a lot of fussing over the Control U being a thing. Like someone asked, didn't Kevin invent Anchor Buoy? I don't remember. Did you invent it, Kevin, or did you popularize it?
I popularized it and then decided that I didn't care for it once I got more comfortable with the post-6 relational model. But it sure kept my sanity the first couple of years after.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so let's move on here. There's some other things going on here. Okay, one of these buttons is not going to be like the others. Have you ever noticed that when you go to put text inside, and I'm talking about a regular button, not a button bar segment. I'm talking about just a good old-fashioned button, right? There's no specify button here, right? I can't dynamically generate this as calculation text.
No, that's why you use a segment of a button bar, right?
Right. So a lot of people will just do single segment button bars as faux buttons, right? Just so they can have access to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, but all of a sudden, here's one. Look at me, I'm hovering over it, the time's changing.
Oh, okay.
Right, and suddenly this is working, right? And this is a regular button, this isn't a button bar. Anyone know how I did that? And it's, oh, if I go into layout mode, it's going to give the trick away, but I did not overlay something else. This is
Oh,
actually,
you didn't? Okay, I would have thought that you would use the layout calculation, right?
I
Maybe?
did sort of.
Okay.
Let's go into layout mode. You can paste layout calculation inside.
What?
Yes. And then
Now you
it
can.
behaves. In fact, I first made a layout calculation, then I copied and pasted it in. So, yeah.
All
So-
right. Is that okay? This is one of those undocumented things like Matt Petrowski does, and everyone swears that it may not work in the next release of FileMaker. Has this been working pretty reliably?
It's been working since layout calculations were first introduced, and it's working here in 22.
What? Because that's always been how I distinguish people like, well, why would you use a button bar, not a regular button? I'm like, well, because you can use calculations and button bars. I didn't realize you could just copy and paste a layout calc into a regular old button.
There you go. I didn't either. And I would give credit in the article. By the way, you know what? I sort of glossed over one thing that I'm going to ungloss right now. The resource page for this is here. And the resource page, right, includes the articles I've done on layout calculations. And I give the credit to the person who came up with that here. So, in fact, I think I'll just open these all now. There's a couple more things that are kind of interesting about layout calcs, and I'm going to get to those in just a second.
Yes, I desire to know.
Okay. So, merge variables, right? Oh, yeah. So what I did when I made that button was first I made this layout calc, and then I pasted that into the button, and then the button got too large, and I shrunk the button back down.
That's cool.
So you know. Okay. So how many times has this happened to you? You decide to put a merge variable on a layout, and then whoops, you needed it to have a repetition also, and suddenly it stops working. I don't know about you, but I hate it when that happens. So merge var experiment, tools, script debugger, run the script. We just got two variables, right?
Yes.
Variable without a rep and a variable with a rep.
Okay.
So run this, and sure enough, the var without the rep is showing its value, but the other var is simply not displaying because merge variables don't support repetitions. However, if you turn it into a layout calc, Alt O131. On Windows, it's Alt O131 on the number pad. And then it's Option F on the Mac to make an italic F. And then put a colon.
You're kidding me.
Now, using layout calc.
Can you do that again real quick?
Sure.
Real quick?
So where we were at was we have two merge variables on the layout, right?
Yeah.
And even though they're both populated, right? If I went up to the data viewer and looked, right, we would see they were both there. Var with a rep and a var without a rep, right?
Okay.
Okay. So then
it doesn't display it on the layout. Is that a defect? Why is it?
It's documented, so it's not a bug.
Huh.
It's documented that merge variables do not support repetitions.
An array. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Variables support repetitions, but not merge variables.
Not merge.
What we're going to do is we're going to slide in an italic F colon in front of that, at which point it becomes a layout calculation, right? And as soon as we do that,
then it reads the variable.
There it is. So layout. Okay. So I got a lot to show, so I'm just going to move on if that's okay.
We'll give you all the time you need. Do you have a hard stop at the top of the hour?
I don't.
Okay, we'll keep going then.
Disappearing data. Okay, so this was probably about 10 years ago. Another developer sought my help to figure out why data was disappearing. And I was going to put Margaret on the spot here, but looks like
Well, put me on the spot. No, they can wait. Right? Yes. So what am I looking at?
Okay. So I had a developer, he had a housekeeping routine that would, well, first thing he said was, randomly data's disappearing from different tables in my database,
Okay, that's always bad. Dog ate my homework and all that jazz.
right? So I'm gonna turn on the script debugger, right? And try to get a housekeeping routine. And what it was saying was at various times during the day, he was doing a lot in a sort of utility table, which we're just going to call Scratch here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, what could possibly go wrong with this? Any thoughts? He's only running it when there's a single user, so he doesn't have to worry about, screwing the pooch with some other user, right?
Okay, well, delete all records always makes me nervous.
Okay. Yeah. So what could go wrong is what would happen if you thought, gosh, I'm going to do some cleanup on that layout. No one uses that. I think I'll just take that out, right? So now he's taken out the Scratch layout.
Oh, where
Now,
would that?
when
It's
his
not going to leave the main layout, is it? It's just going to stay on.
so he runs his
No.
routine. Ready for this?
No.
Okay, go to layout. Now,
Layout's
FileMaker
missing.
threw out an error code, but it did not display anything on screen, even though I have not turned set error capture on.
Oh.
Whoops. Whoops.
No. No.
Okay.
That's so bad.
Whoops.
That's
Yeah, I
bad.
hate it when that happens. So restore order to the universe.
Undo my terrible mistakes.
Okay, so that's because I had a separate table called order backup and I just pulled it back. That's not because FileMaker has an undo when you do something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this sounds like a magazine from the 1970s. Better housekeeping, right? Okay. So what if we instead do this? Go to layout. If the get last error is 0, we'll do that. Otherwise, we won't.
Oh, that's a good easy fix for that. Though
Yeah.
I am forever scared of delete all records.
Yeah, so here's another one we might try, right? We might check the internal layout ID. Now, I know what you're thinking. FileMaker doesn't have a get layout ID function. Kevin, you put it in a custom function, didn't you? Yes, I did. And we're going to look at that in just a minute.
Okay.
But the thing I like about this is like, if I take out my dedicated layout, I'm just going to check. And if that layout ID is not there, I'm not going to take it out. I'm not even going to check the table occurrence name because people could rename their table occurrence. There's many ways to solve this problem. So I'm not saying these are the only ways, but I'm just showing some ideas here. And then there's also this one, Better Housekeeping version 3. Now, there's two things we could do here. We could go to layout and then truncate the table, current table. That would be a really bad idea, wouldn't it? Right?
Yes.
Right? It's going to try to go to layout. It's going to fail. And now it's going to truncate the current table. Right? So if you're going to use truncate table, I'm going to stop for a sec. Bear in mind that you have to elevate it to it has to run with full access privileges, right? That's what that little guy is. We talked about this last time, actually, right? That script won't run except for full access users. So you got to, if you want it to run for non-full access users, grant full access privileges to the script.
Yeah, that seems nerve-wracking.
All right. So then the other thing we can do is now we can say, well, what would happen if we did it right? Okay. Notice what we've done in this case. We've specified the table that we're trying to create,
okay.
right? So then there's just no way that can go wrong. Okay. Even if the layout were missing, that will still work.
Okay, so it's going directly to the table instead.
It's just taking care of it, right? It knows about the table. Exactly. All right. So that's let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say about disappearing data. Hang on a sec. Oh yeah. No, I think that's enough about that, but that's a huge gotcha. So I wanted to call that out earlier here in the session because it is such a huge gotcha.
Yes, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so let's go look. Yeah, let's play in the sandbox. So I really like having these sandbox files. I use them all the time and they show up a lot on my blog. Just put the query, maybe I've got some input stuff here, make a note here and show what the output is. So the idea of a sandbox, it's just a really safe place to play. You're not going to hurt anything. Okay, so since FileMaker doesn't have a built-in get layout ID, we've got to roll our own, right? And it turns out to be really simple.
Ooh, that's nice.
So, well, first, nothing up my sleeve. We've got a bunch of copies of Sandbox just because I wanted some extra layouts in here. If you have Monkey Bread installed, I don't at the moment on this machine, but you'd be able to see the internal layout IDs here.
Yes.
So that can be useful. But we're gonna roll our own here. So we're on the Sandbox layout, right? 1, 2, 3. We're on the third layout out of 7. Okay. Let's look at FileMaker's layout IDs function. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the layout IDs. Notice they're not in order of creation.
Yeah.
What order are they in?
I have actually no idea. Like, if it's not ordered creation, I don't know what they would count.
The custom order, the way you've laid out the layouts, right?
Yes, they are in the order of the
That-
layout number.
Yeah.
Now, layout number is probably the most brittle, breakable thing you could ever use, right?
Wait, so it's not permanent. It changes when you move a layout up and down the list?
Yes. Well, you think about it, right? Get layout number
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely right. So, and we can prove that very easily, right? Because if I move this down here to the bottom, okay, and then I refresh, see that?
Oh, that's not great.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I said there were 7. There's
So
only
that's different than record ID, right? Because record IDs are
this
kind
is
of
the
like,
layout ID. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the layout number. But now the question is, can we leverage these two functions to get the current layout ID, right? Since FileMaker doesn't directly give us that,
Mm-hmm.
it turns out we can like this, right? Go into the layout IDs and get the value that represents the layout number. Okay.
oh, I see. Okay, back up. So I missed this memo. So while we can go and get record IDs, we don't have the ability to directly get the
Layout ID.
late ID. They hide that. So, but they put it in get the
Well, we have a
layout.
layout IDs function, right?
Yeah, which gives you all of them. So then
Right.
how do you so he's combining this is a really backhanded double felony weasel way of getting the data. So
Well, you know what? I was going
okay.
to give credit to the person I learned this from, but now what you've said that.
I have a comment. If someone had the comment about the go-to layout number, I used a go-to next layout by layout number yesterday, and I was surprised when it went to a blank layout titled dash, which is a layout separator on the layouts menu.
Right, because behind the scenes, they shoehorned that in after the fact, and it's sort of halfway a layout and halfway not. But the problem with layout numbers, they're just so brittle. And even if you're like, I'll always keep these two together. I'll always have my list. More detail.
yeah,
Famous
no.
last words. So then I will point out that here in the here in the sandbox, right? We've got layout number from ID. So if you know the layout ID,
Mm-hmm.
you can say go to layout number, but then feed the ID through this custom function, and it will convert it on the fly back to the number. Because FileMaker doesn't give us a go to layout by ID. They give us either by name or by number, right? So
Got it.
this takes care of that. And then just for complete, this gives you the ID of the current layout. This gives you the ID of whatever layout number you choose to share, which might not be your current ID, your current layout, excuse me. And then this one does the reverse translation to get you back to number at runtime. So that's what's going on as far as that goes. So let's see. So yeah, so that's how that works. Oh, so now I'm just going to completely change gears and show some other random things. I think a lot of you'll know this trick already, but if you don't, you'll appreciate it, right? How many times has this happened to you? Somebody pastes formatted data into your field and you didn't want them to do that, right? Or you didn't mean to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you could have an auto-enter calc on the field and strip it out. That's probably a really good idea. But let's say you didn't, right? When you paste in while you're still in the field, just press Command Z or if you're on Windows, Control Z, and it unformats. So right? It doesn't-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so that's a subtle one. So everyone, real quick. So when you paste something into FileMaker, FileMaker is literally doing two paste commands for you. Or essentially, it's pasting the text and pasting the style. So if you do a Command Z, a one level undo, if you understand that every paste in is two,
Yeah.
it's one undo just gets you just the text. Two undo undoes the whole thing.
Yep, exactly. Well,
Oh, okay. So that's why that works. Yeah.
Yes, right. So you're undoing half the work that you just did. So yeah.
along the same lines, right? How many times has this happened to you? You're setting something cool up in the data viewer, and then somebody says, "Hey, could you go look up this other thing for me?" Or you're in the middle of defining this work of art calculation. Let me get that one. Right? I mean, this is so beautiful that you will deserve the FileMaker Nobel Prize for what you're constructing. Okay? And
Yes.
and it's not this, something far more complex than this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I know this isn't ready yet, right? If I tried to evaluate, it wouldn't work. And by the way, I always keep this box unchecked because if you're a SQL head, you can wait a very long time while your partially built SQL query resolved, or while, or many things, right? So I try to always keep that unchecked. Just, okay. So then you say, no problem, this isn't ready for prime time, but that's okay. I'll just comment it out, right? We all know how to do this, right? I'll just comment it out, multi-line comment, right? And then I'll just, sorry, my Zoom widget's in the way. I'll hit monitor, and all will be well with the world. And then when I come back, ye gads.
Oh
Oh.
man.
Right? No. In space, no one can hear you scream, but here on Earth, down the hall, and in the next building, right, you're going to hear you.
Some serious squealing going
Yeah.
on. That was hideous.
At this point, there's actually something you can do, right? Which is wipe that out, come back down here, select all down here in the result, and then drag and drop it up.
Oh, the result keeps it
Yeah.
formatted? Okay.
Right? So that's something you can do. And then next time you need to do it, go ahead and comment it out, but just put a 1 in front of it. Thank you, Jeff Gerard. That's a trick I learned from you.
What? That makes it so it won't destroy the formatting? Ah!
One. And then all your beautiful work is preserved without you having to use that trick I showed a moment ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see what else we have. Oh, this is kind of fun, right? So you guys know it's a next get next serial value, right? And if you, by the way, every time you see quote, that's get file name, and I have a very good reason why I leave it empty. And if we have time, I'll get to that. I'm not going to digress on that yet. But that's what I'm saying. Get the next serial value for ID, right? And I'm going to click boom, and it says 9. And that makes sense because our serial numbers, our ID numbers actually are 1 through 8, right? Okay, so back over here, right? So that works. I just wanted to share that. And then, so let's say that we want to start with our next serial number, and then we're going to make 5. We're going to make a list of 5 ID numbers, but we don't want them just to be the number. We want it to be sand, that stands for sandbox, and then some zeros, and then the ID, right?
Yeah.
We'll zero pad it, so the length is the same even when we go higher than 9.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I call that zero padding, right? That's what we're doing there.
Yep.
Right? So we've got this great idea, right? Oh, I'll just add 1 to it, right? So first off, let's just look at the S value. I just want to, nothing up my sleeve, right? There it is, right? It's ready to give us the 9.
Got it.
Okay. But now this while, as I said, there would be any long-winded code explanations. I'll just say it's going to iterate through, it's going to add 1. Addition will not work. So when I try to do that, sure.
Oh.
Right? So the question is, there's any number of ways, right, that you could make that work. But probably the easiest is serial increment. Serial increment was invented, and that's a built-in function to solve this problem.
Okay, so it's not a custom function; it's an actual
Not
base
at all.
FileMaker one.
It
Okay.
just says if you've got a number in your text string there, we'll increment that number. If you have more than one number and they're separated by text, the right-hand one takes priority. So for instance, if I put sand, whoops, if I put an 8 there,
Mm-hmm.
see, it's going to leave the 8. It's going to take the rightmost number.
Oh, okay. That's
Right?
nice.
Yeah, so that's how that feature works. So serial increment. And then I'll just point out, right? I started a counter and I
Mm-hmm.
got and then I set the X value at 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
That X, obviously I could make that any number I want, right? If I do 99, then we're going to get a whole bunch, right?
Ooh, yes.
Okay, so that's the purpose of that, right? But let's keep it simple, right? So Alex Zuyev, whom some of you have seen probably his comments in either FMP experts or in the Claris community, he pointed out that you don't need a separate counter. Let's go to the next example. You can get rid of that separate counter because you know what your total number is, and then just de-increment. So previously, right, I was incrementing my counter forward till I reach
Mm-hmm.
5. In this version, you start with 5 and you just work your way down. And the whole point with a while, this second argument here is, as long as this is true, keep iterating down here, right? So just sometimes, so more and more, I've been saying some things you need to do forward, but if
Mm-hmm.
you do it backwards, starting with the max and then working your way back down, that's just another pattern. I thought I'd mention it.
That's some peak
What
cleverness of
else
what
to
that
do?
is.
This is kind of fun. Salespeople by state. Okay, how many times has this? So I got these salespeople. They're in
Mm-hmm.
different states. Okay, and I want to produce a report showing by state how many salespeople I've got. So I'm going to come over here, right? Now I'm alphabetized, and there's my count, right? I was already
Yes.
sorted. So when I came over here, this thing is set up and it just says, okay, there's my summary count.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to back up. Let me show manage database first. Okay, fields. Okay. We're going to ignore those two bottom ones for the moment. Okay. So here we are, right? I've got a constant. It's set to equal 1.
Mm-hmm.
I should count. I'm counting the constant. With count, just count anything that's guaranteed not to be empty. Want to count your primary key? As long as you guaranteed it isn't empty, right?
Yes.
Now, you just count something that, because count only counts things that have a data inside them. So when you
Okay.
count an empty field, it's not going to count it, right?
Got it.
Okay. So if I want to count my salespeople, right, I
Mm-hmm.
can do either of these two things. I can
Okay.
total the constant, right, because summing the one is the same as counting the one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just want to point that out, right? Either of these approaches is valid. On this layout, I'm choosing to count, right? So here I am, and then somebody says, but wait a minute, Kevin, without one of your virtual list tricks or without pushing data out into some sort of scratch or temporary table, I want this thing sorted with the salespeople count. So, and it turns out that's very easy to do, right? So we can go, and in fact, let's do it the other way first, okay? If I come down here, right, and I'm just going to take that out. I come over here to state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I sort by state, that's what we've got at this moment.
Got it.
But what I could do is I could reorder based on a summary field. Either of these are going to do the same thing, so it doesn't matter which one I choose.
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Oh, okay.
Now, somebody says, but yeah, but I want to see it in descending order. Okay, so here's where it gets tricky. If they want it in descending order, we're going to choose the state field and put descending order. But since we're reordering by the summary field,
It'll affect that instead. Okay, that's interesting. It's kind of like a couple degrees of separation between what you would think. Okay.
right? Well, that's been that way forever in FileMaker. I think it's in version 3. However, and I'm not joking. So, but then somebody says, but wait a minute. If I'm stuck here with reordering, I still want to see my states alphabetically, not reverse alphabetically. And so then we've got a little problem, right? And the problem that we have is, well, once we effectively, both the state and the summary field are going to respond to this. So the
Mhm.
question becomes, is there a way without tricks, without pushing stuff off to a scratch table, but right here in our data, is there a trick we can use? And it turns out the answer is yes. So I'm purposely being a little bit, what's a coy, right? Right. So now I've got the proper descending by the count of salespeople, but my states are now properly
Let's
alphabetized
say it's
within.
alphabetical now. Okay.
Any
Cool.
any guesses on how that's happening?
I
Hint,
no, actually.
hint. It has to do with the total of rather than the count of.
Any online guesses? Anyone? Bueller?
Here
Bueller?
it comes. I don't want to spend too much time on it. All right. So what I remember I said I was hiding some fields.
Yes.
-1. Total of -1. Okay, that's a summary field, and we can reorder by that, right? So even though I'm showing the regular summary count here,
Mm-hmm.
when I apply the sort, total negative, right? So now I'm ascending, right? -10 comes before -9 in ascending order.
Okay.
So just thought I'd mention it for what it's worth, and that's enough about that.
That's clever. Okay.
All right. Problem statement. Okay, I've got a bunch of products and I
Mm-hmm.
want to make a report sorted by the vendor for those products. And all goes well on page 1. But when I get over it, whoops. Sorry.
No,
Let's try
you're
it again.
good.
All goes well on page 1. But when we get to another page, we suddenly get into a position where I'm at the top of page 5 and I have no idea who my vendor is unless I flip back to page 4.
Yes.
Right? This requires a workaround in FileMaker. The workaround, in this case, I'm just going to use virtual list. So I'm going to push everything over there. And I'm going to point out, I've got products and I've got vendors. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The vendors have their ID, starts with a V here. Every product is linked to a vendor via standard parent-child relationship. So I'm going to go here into manage database. Here we are, right? Just what you'd expect, right?
Yep.
The primary key in the vendor is the foreign key in the product. Okay.
Yes.
I will point out the only vendor-related data I have in the product table is their ID. I'm not shadowing, I'm not storing a redundant copy of the vendor name over here. And
Okay.
you say, of course, why would you? Well, the reason is, I'm just pointing that out for what I'm about to show. So I've got 5,000 records here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to produce this little catalog. So I'm using method A. It's going to sit here and it's going to sort those records by the related vendor name because I want them in alphabetical vendor name order.
Okay.
That took 11 seconds, and this is the holdover from when I showed those table occurrences, right? Here they
Mm-hmm.
are, right? Well, we know it's 11 seconds on method A. And notice what I'm doing, right? So this is a virtual list, and the virtual list is based, I'm not going to talk a lot about virtual lists because I've got tons of articles about virtual lists on FileMaker Hacks. But I'll just point out that every row in the virtual list table is just reading the data from the corresponding array for that record. So when necessary, I sneak in and I make a row that says something like blah, blah, blah continued, right? There we go. Okay. And so that's what's showing at the top of the page, right? I know how many rows fit on a page.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very easy for me to do this. All that's
okay. Got
okay.
it.
All that's background. That I didn't want to just show something without explaining what was going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But do you remember that 11 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure I'm not sorted. Let's do an unsort. Okay. Here's method B to produce that same PDF or that same report. But it's 109 pages.
Okay. Why was that so much faster?
I am sorted by, I remember I already showed that there wasn't anything in that table except the ID, but yet I'm sorted alphabetically by name. Okay. And it turns out, oops, let's try again. Under name. Oh, that's from the previous. Okay, I'll just do it with the debugger on. Method B. Yeah, I know how many rows there are. I probably put defer on that. This is a really old demo. Okay, the key thing that's happening here is, let's see. I'm using insert calculated result, okay, instead of JSON set element to build up that array. This is a trick I got from Mr. Watson, as some of you will recognize that name, Russell Watson.
Yeah, we've had him on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So he posted this, and it's just blazingly fast. So what insert calculated result does is it doesn't rewrite the variable.
Oh.
It appends to the variable without having to rewrite it. Whereas with JSON set element or list or however you're building this thing up, it's rewriting that variable with every iteration, and this isn't. So by using insert calculate, that's of course because I took time.
So you're saying that writing into memory over and over and over, because the variable's in memory. So writing into that spot in memory has it. Obviously, there's a time penalty,
and it's getting right. The amount that you're writing is getting larger with every iteration, right?
Yes.
Right. So 10 seconds. 1 second. Same data, right? Either way, there's 109 pages.
Interesting.
Hey, can we get these samples off your website, right? Off the hacks page?
Yeah, but what I'll say is I'm going to provide a zip file with all these demos in it, and I recommend you download that because I've tweaked them in various ways.
Perfect.
Since they originally appeared.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything else to talk about. Oh, there are a few other things to talk about. Okay, so let's see. It says, oh, yes. So we got something new in FileMaker 22. It's a stealth little improvement. And it's so innocuous, but the question might be why, right? And I'll talk about that in a second. But first, I'm going to talk about a standard behavior. You may notice that in this little found set of 10 records here, some of these items have duplicate prices. Wouldn't it be nice if I could find the dupes, right? So I come down here and I put exclamation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to not hit enter because that would find all my dupes, right? What I'd like to do is do constrain. Is it going to work?
Ooh, I've never used those two together.
I have no idea. I'm going to say yes, and we'll see what happens.
And the fact that I'm asking, because common sense would say, of course it should work, right? So what just happened was it did not constrain to the dupes, except it really did. It's just that the other one or more that make this a dupe are not in the found set.
Okay, so it's telling you which ones would have dupes, but it's not listing all the actual dupes. Is that what you're saying?
Change my found set at all, right? Because every single one of these had a dupe, either in or out of the found set. Well, that doesn't really help us, right? So in the old days, if you understood the behavior, if you instead made layout looks identical, but now the price is unstored. It's an unstored calc just echoing the price, but it's actually unstored, right? So now when we come here on this unstored field and we go request constrain found set, now it does what we wanted because it's unstored. So the problem with that was, who wants to make an unstored calc utility field just so they can do a constrain under this extremely narrow use case?
No one.
No one. Although I do know a few crazy developers who did. So here we are, right? And I'm going to re-prep the demo, right? Okay. and I'm back on the version that is the regular price, which has an index, right? By the way, if you ever want to see if a field has an index or not, just go into find mode, press Command I or Control I, right? And then you'll see the index. I like to go into find mode because then I won't accidentally screw the pooch and change the data, right?
Okay.
It works in browse mode, but then notice it's saying, oh, paste that in, right? Okay, just killed it, right? So, yeah, so I typically go into find mode before I do that. So here we are, right? And so now on this layout, constrain price on exclamation point without indexes. No. I don't even remember my own demo. Oh, that was the omit. Okay, prep your demo. Sorry. I think I'll just do it manually. Oh no, you need a script to do it. Yes, they've got a few things that only work when they're scripted. So here's what we're going to do, right?
Okay.
Here it is. Tools, script debugger, script, constrain price on exclamation point without indexes. Why it says without indexes? There is a new in 22 check mark. And it's only when you script the constrain. See that?
Oh, okay. So you can't
it's
access
only
that.
on constrain. It's not on find. It's not on extend. And then you'll get then you can get the desired behavior, right? And a lot of times you've already done your find, so your found set is already pretty small. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to do one additional constraint without the indexes. You're probably not taking on a whole lot of overhead, right? So at any rate, that's one of those features that only works in a script step, right? If I instead try to do it manually, right? Okay, I'm gonna do my duplicates, request, constrain. Where's my checkbox for skipping the index? It's not there, so you have to script it. But
Got it.
at least you
Okay.
don't have to make a helper field anymore. One other thing I'll show, just because I thought it was kind of interesting. Okay, let's say my user is sorted, right? And
Mm-hmm.
who knows what they did, right? They chose to sort, and that was their right. They chose to do it. Right? Maybe, okay, here's what, maybe they did it more complicated, right? They said, hey, I'm sorted first by price, and then let's do the vendor name also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Within each price, I'm alphabetical by vendor, right? And
Okay.
now, let's say we've got a script that blows out the found set, and we'd like our script to restore whatever sort order they had before,
Okay.
right?
But
But
that
we
can be
don't
customized
know,
between different people. Yes. Okay.
right?
So
We don't know, right? So here's a script, and it just did it for me. So what did that script do? It's the simplest trick in the world.
how did you catch that?
You don't need to catch it. If you script a sort and you don't specify the criteria,
Will it automatically do the
yes, it'll
last one that
automatically apply the
Oh, that's
last.
clever. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That's
there we
really
go.
nice.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to show this next one just because it's a really cool trick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fast summaries revisited. This is another one that I'm going to show the cool thing first.
Okay.
Okay. Now, remember I said nothing up my sleeve. There's no echoing field from the name. I was
Uh-huh.
actually thinking of this demo when I said that. So we've got a slow sort and a fast sort. I've got 160K records here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the slow sort, and
It's trucking.
it's time, right? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorting on the vendor name, and that vendor name doesn't live in order, right? That vendor name is a related field, right?
Oh,
This is what I
right.
said, standard primary to foreign key relationship, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that took 17 and a half seconds, right? And then what if we did the fast sort? Let's on the sort first. On your mark, get set, go.
Oh,
Okay. And so the slow sort will be faster this time because of caching.
mm-hmm.
Okay. The slow sort was just what you'd expect. on the related vendor name.
Okay.
Notice here, I don't have anything cached. All I have is the vendor ID.
Yes.
Okay. That yet somehow, when I'm doing the fast sort, okay, we come over here, I'm sorting an ID vendor, but what's this? Oh my gosh, it's instead of reorder down here, it's custom based on this value list, right? And what's going on in that value list is I have the vendor ID and the name. ID and the name, all values, right? So when
Okay.
you sort locally based on a value list, it's much faster.
So is it not going through the relationship because it has a
I
value
think
list
it's
with all the
skipping it.
field?
It's already indexed it behind the scenes or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the technical explanation, but what I will say is it's just way
Okay.
faster. Um,
Nifty.
yeah. So then I think this will be the last one I show today, and we'll just end it here. Script debugger. Let's talk about fast summaries and multi-finds. All right. So
Yes.
because fast summaries require the data to be sorted the way you want it, and presumably in the correct order, like in this case, vendor names.
Yes.
I was thinking until I learned that value list trick that fast summaries weren't any good if you had to use related data. So, but it turns out that now that we know that trick with the value list, they're very fast. So even when there's related data that you're using. So let's do this, right? Let's take a look at, I know what I'm gonna do. Let's find people who have the word university. Okay.
Okay.
Make sure there's more than one. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's several universities in here. Right? I'm gonna click fast summary. And it's going to say, do you want to do all records or just the found set? I'll do just the found set. And then boom, it went out, slurped up all those entries. And this is one of those, this, by the way, came from Mikhail Edoshin, as some of you will recall his name. And this is his technique. I'm just shamelessly reusing it. But the idea is you could prepare this in a variable or a global field, and you could push it out as email. So you could email a report as text very easily using this technique. You might also load up variables to be used with virtual list, but I'm not doing any virtual list here. So, so the issue with the fast summary is it can only report on what's there, right? So this, I'm going to run it again, and this I'm going to say all records. It's still going to be really fast. So that took 5.5 seconds to aggregate 160,000 entries.
Okay.
And it's
pretty quick, yeah.
by the vendor. Okay. So the only thing I'll say about that is it only reported on data that was there. So if we had any vendors that didn't have any orders, they were not going to show up here. And this is so. Well, let's take a look at multi-find. Multi-find is going to do the same amount of work in about the same amount of time. Tick, 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 tick. He says it's the same amount of time. Normally that'd be the same amount of time, so something else was going on there. But it's actually using the list of vendors. So therefore, it will also find what isn't there.
Ooh, that's nice. Okay, so you have like an actual list of vendors who are actually buying and who are not buying versus just the ones who have put in orders.
Right, the ones that weren't there as well as the ones that were. And then, so as far as that goes, if we jump over here, slow versus fast. Oh, this is kind of fun. What I found is when the found sets get really large, that difference between fast and slow sort is magnified.
Oh, okay.
Right?
That's substantial.
So, yeah, so 12 seconds on 64K records versus 93.
That's insane.
So now here's just a comparison. This is all well documented in one of the articles that are on the resource page there on FileMaker Hacks. But basically saying the fast summary is going to use the get summary function to step through each group once per group, do little mini aggregates doing get summary, right? Multi-find is going to grab a list of all the vendor IDs properly sorted by name, and then it's just going to do finds. So it doesn't need to use get summary and it doesn't need to sort, right? The sorting happened at the value list level. right? So it's going to be faster in some cases. For example, here is me testing the 64,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I did this multiple times. So this performance delta is pretty constant here. That multi-find, when you have a large found count and you're local, which I understand a lot of us aren't, but I didn't test it online, so I'm not going to speculate on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so with larger record counts, the multi-find technique might actually be faster.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
both of those scripts are in here. You can pull them apart and see how they work. But in a nutshell, multi-find just says, okay, you gave me a list of 5,000 vendors. I'm just going to do a find, grab back the summary data for that. Do the next find, grab back the summary data. Whereas
Oh, okay.
fast summary is going to say, I'm going to sort, I'm going to cruise through your data, and I'm going to use get summary to get each group's value, and then I'll jump to the next. I won't have to go through every record. Let's watch get summary in action, or fast summary. So this is Mikhail Edishin was the one who promoted this technique about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, and I get into it would run server side if it was hosted.
Yes.
That's what that's all about. And then so here I am, and it's going to just do a perform script because I'm not hosted, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now I'm in the subscript, and it knows that the method is fast summary, right? So now it's done the fast sort. There it goes. It just did the fast sort. Okay, it says how many records are in the current group. So it gets the summary count for this vendor. So at this point, however many orders they placed,
Mm-hmm.
it just counted them. Then it's going to get the total of amount, right? So I've got a summary count, summary amount. It's reading these two summary fields, but only for this group, right? That's what get summary does. This second thing is the breakpoint. So it says just for this ID vendor, give me those summaries, right? And then it says, where am I going next? Oh, that, right? Then it builds the entry for the report that we're getting, that's the output. Then it's going to say, am I already at the end of everything? No. So I'm going to keep going. Now here, I'm going to go to next record. So now it's going to jump, and it just jumped me to record 97. I was on record 1 a second ago.
Got it. Okay.
That's what that's doing, right? That's how fast summaries work. And I didn't find any performance boost to putting it on a blank layout or anything.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, so that's, you know what? And I'm just going to say one more thing. I said I was done, but I'm going to just do this piece sauce gotcha because I can do this in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Right? Because you might be running this server side, right? And then passing back the result. That's a great way to get a performance boost under some circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So help, my script runs fine client side, but it's not working as expected when I run it via PSOS. So I think probably about once a month, this question comes up somewhere on some forum.
Yes.
And the answer is usually this. Your server, when you go to run PSOS, it's going to run the startup script in that file, right?
Yep.
So bail out early.
Yes.
The application version is server, right? Now, does bailout mean right at the beginning? Sometimes. But sometimes you might find out, oh no, I need to set a few globals, or I need to initialize a plugin, maybe put in the license code for the plugin. I might need to do a little bit of setup, even if I'm running on the server.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, do your business first, then bail out, then the rest of your startup script won't run. But that often is the fix. And it's just, it's documented, but it's not documented well enough that that a lot of people know it, but a lot of people don't know it. Let's just say that.
Yes. And that was one of the harder things I had to comprehend when I was first learning about PSOS, was that it acts like a client. Sort of.
Yeah, opening and closing scripts, the whole thing. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's a good stopping point for today.
I think that was awesome.
I hate to break it to you. This is one of as much as I love other presenters, this is like super action packed. It's just like there's no build up. It's just like boom, 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 boom. So yes.
So you know what? I've got a couple little mini ones to show. Let me just show them really quick because they're so easy. Okay.
Yeah. Well, why not have more explosions?
So let's say you're one of those people who always calls your primary key ID in every table, right? If you're one of those people, right, you can put this in your data viewer, oh, wait, get field, right? If you put that in your data viewer, oh, come on.
Is it
Okay,
case
what am I doing
sensitive?
wrong? Get field, get layout table name and ID. Get layout table name. Did I do get layout table name? Oh, I put my, let's see. How's that look? Oh, because I'm not in vendor. And this is the one table in 1,000 where I didn't call my primary key ID. Okay, so here we go, right? So there it is. So if I put get field on that, right? And then I can run that anywhere, and just to prove the assertion, I'll just open up something else, right?
Oh wait, does data viewer keep what it's monitoring when you hop between?
I'm just saying, as long as your primary key is called ID, right? I'm just pointing that out, right? There's
Yes.
something to be said for consistency. It's nice to know that, hey, I might not know much, but I do know how to find my primary key, regardless of which system I open. It's kind of ironic that the one time I didn't do it was the time I tried to demo it. So
How it sneaks
that's
up on
one,
you.
right?
Mhm.
As long as we're there, let's do a couple other things, right? So one is I don't know how many people know this, right? But let's say here I am in 160,000 records. Let's say I want to isolate this down to just the first 10,000, right?
Yes.
Or better yet, I want to start with 50,001 and go down to 60,000, right?
Yes.
If my cursor is not in the field, I can hit escape and it will put the focus up there on the record number selector, right? So then I can do 50,001. Now I'm on that record, right? And then what I want to do, well, there's a couple things I could do. Let's say I wanted to omit everything from here down. So I only wanted the first 50,000. One thing I could do is Command Shift T, or Control Shift T on Windows.
Mhm.
Okay. Then I can just type in an impossibly large number, hit
Okay.
enter 3 times. I'm going to hit enter 3 times now. 1, 2, 3. So
Wait.
yeah, so let's try it again, right? Okay. So let's say I want to only have 25,000 in my found set, right?
Okay.
25,001. Remember, I hit escape to get my focus up there. Hit
Yes.
enter. Now I'm on that record.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to do Command Shift T or on Windows Control Shift T. And I'm going to say just put in an impossibly large number and hit enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one. Okay.
That's
that was
awesome.
that. I have 2 more and then I really am done. All right. So I open up my managed scripts and all of a sudden I've got a whole bunch of scripts open, right? You can't necessarily see them all, but I've got a bunch of scripts.
Oh, yes, there's a stack.
Right. And then I say, I really want to get rid of all the others and only see my backup script,
Okay.
right? Now I could go find all the other ones and close them.
That's
or
what I usually do. Yes.
put down Option or Alt if I'm on
No.
and click that, and it closes everything but.
Oh.
Yeah. And then let's say I'm here.
Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of you guys will know this one, but for those who don't, this is a wonderful tip, right?
Mhm.
I'm here and I'm like, oh, it's calling a subscript. Wait, okay. I'd like to get into that script and see it. If I hold down Control on Windows or Command on the Mac and click that, it will open that script. I don't have to go like over here and find it.
Oh. Okay, I did not know that. I just Command K and I type it in, and then I hit enter. I
Oh,
open it that way.
Modern way to do it. Anyway, just a few last things to share. Okay, I'm done.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you.
So the question is, if we're doing the zip thing, we're not going to go to this website, but once you go to filemakerhacks.com, right? Is that what it is?
Yes.
.com? Yeah, it's .com.
It is.
Go to FileMakerX.com. But if we want this zip file that goes with today's live
Go
stream,
ahead, go there.
Okay. Whoop.
Okay, see where it says coming soon under demo files?
okay, so that's where it's going to be. Cool.
One of the reasons I didn't post it yet is there's some things I didn't show today.
Mm-hmm.
So pull those out from both the links here, and I won't put those demo files in, and we'll save that for some future part 3.
Well, you've got
Yes.
your 15th anniversary, right? I mean, for what it's worth, and you're also going to be doing the
One in November or December. It's been a little slice of heaven, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys face to face.
Yes.
Absolutely, Mr. Kevin. Thank you.
It'll be awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.